Excuse me, ma'am. Excuse me.
Yes.
You in my business? Yeah, don't do that. Anywho.
So it's interview time with me, Durf. My friends down there on the Cloud podcast had a question they wanted me to answer. The question was, what do you look for in a first date with a female? The first thing I look for is the drip. Gotta have a drip. First thing I look at is your shoes. I ain't gonna lie. You gotta be able to keep a conversation on a date. Can't be boring. And your hygiene, gotta have good hygiene. Can't come on the first date stinking and shit.
Hello, everyone. My name is Tasha Watson, and I chose the question, what do I look for in a first date? First thing first is manners. Where are your manners? You have to show me that you're really feeling me and this is what you want. So I am kind of fairy tale a little still. I do want you to open the car door for me, and any car door, show me that you're putting that effort in to want to be with me. And I want you to smell good. I want that smell to hit me, when we first be around each other. I want that smell to just come at me. But that's not the biggest thing, but I do want you to smell good. Communication skills. You got to know how to communicate. I'm big on communication because if you don't communicate, everything can go left. I also want to know your long-term, your short-term goals, where your head at. I just basically want to see where your head at. The first date, I want everything to go smooth, but I do want to learn you also. I want to know your job status. I want to know if you're working, what you got planned. I want to know what's your job status. Are you working? What's your legal plan of getting money? How you're surviving. So I do want to know that. And last but not least, I do make sure you leave a tip because I'm big on that. That shows a lot about you right there. You can follow me on Twitter, Tosh. Instagram, Tasha_Marie_Watson. Facebook, Tasha Watson. Thank you.
What do I look for in the first date? Really, the first date, I think it's like you filling them out, you trying to see how much eye contact they have, how good they can hold a conversation with you. Just getting to know little things about them, seeing, how their interaction is, But most importantly for me, I think it got to be the music taste. Because, if y'all both got the same music taste, that's a hit already, And y'all connected.
What I'm looking for in a first date is to see if the guy intentions matches my intentions. I'm looking to see if his characteristics are as I would like to see in my potential boyfriend. I would like to see that unique aspect. I'm looking for straightforward honesty as well as leading qualities in him. And lastly, I'm looking forward to see the chemistry / connection.
So I've never been on a traditional first date. I've only had first encounters, and just from that I can say that your first impression really is a lasting impression. I'm 24 years old, and while I'm very young, I know what I want out of life. I definitely want to be a wife and a mother one day. I want to raise a beautiful family. So with that being said, a first date for me would be especially important because I am looking for lasting behaviors and someone who is very genuine. I would never want anybody to do anything for me on a first date that they wouldn't continue to do later on in life. Chivalry is not dead, and I think that it's great when people, want to court you a little bit. They want to impress you, open the door, pay the bill, and all of that is great. But if that's not something that that individual could maintain and keep up with, I'm not interested. I'm more interested in their mindset and the things that are in their heart, of course. And I think that on a first date, the closest way that I could get to those things is just from conversation. I would be very interested in learning about the things that potentially resonate with me, their spirituality, what their goals and outlook is on life. And all around conversation. I think that you can definitely tell a lot by getting to know a person simply over conversation and just looking for those things that can be long lasting. So that's what I look for in a first date.
Looks for on the first date, conversation. I don't want to get bored, so keep me keep the vibe going, basically.
Hey guys, so the question of the day is, what do you look for in a first date? Yes, it may sound cliche, but I do look for personality. Second, I look for good conversation. Third, ambition. And lastly, something personal to me is if you have any kids. If not, I tried it and it didn't work for me. But yeah, those are things that I look for in a first date.
What do you look for in a first date? I don't know. I look for all type of shit, like how you, I don't know, order your food, maybe how you talk. Like, I don't know. Like, I look for a lot of shit, but I try not to be, too picky, because first day people be nervous. They don't know what to really do or say or whatever. So I can't really say, but I mean, I look at everything as far as what you got on, like where we going, all that shit matters or whatever.
Hey, what's up, everybody? My name is Dennis Hammond. I'm excited to be on this podcast. So huge shout out to Keisha for selecting me to be on this podcast. Also, shout out to Freaking Frack. You can follow the podcast on YouTube, Instagram, Spotify. So I definitely advise y'all to tap in. They got a lot to offer. You can learn a lot from them. And so I suggest it. It's pretty cool. And on this topic, it's dealing with relationships, which is an interesting topic. I know a lot of us in college, we love to talk about relationships. We love to try to get in one. Or some of us maybe even thinking about trying to avoid one or run away from one. But anyway, I'm not even going to get into all that. But the question that was chosen for me, or that I decided to run with, is what do I look for in that first date? And so right off the bat, y'all, I'm a Christian. So before even that first date begins, I make sure that I walk in praying, because as a Christian, I date for the purpose of marriage. And so I'm not just dating recreationally. I'm not just dating multiple women at a time. I'm not just dating to have sex with a whole bunch of different women. I'm dating for the purpose of marriage and to glorify God in that marriage. And so going into that first date, not only am I looking for a woman to have a good time with, of course, I'm looking at their preferences and likes and dislikes, but I'm also tapped in on the character and the qualities. I've been on plenty of first dates before where I got caught up in just thinking of, do they look good enough to have sex with? And as a man of God, that's not the right approach. And when I start thinking about just does her appearance or does she just look good enough to have sex with, that clouds my judgment in the future, especially if I choose to date this person, right? And so I think that's where a lot of us end up making the wrong turn on a potential partner, is when we just focus on the sex and the sexual compatibility and not focusing on the other compatibilities within meeting that person on that first date. And so a big part is just like focusing on their character, focusing on their qualities. For me, making sure that they're a Christian, because I'm a Christian. I know what it's like being involved with women who are unequally yoked. And so I know that comes with plenty of hardships, headaches, stress, just a lot of that. And so a big part of that first date is a critical part, because not only am I looking at, again, their preferences, their likes and their dislikes, but I'm also looking at, will this woman be a potential woman that I would like to marry someday, right? And so that's a huge component for me. Now, if I wasn't Christian, if I would just like have my own thing and my values was different, if I just wanted to mingle and have sex with many different women, well, my values would be different. But since I am Christian, my value system is different. And so I hope that helps answer the question for this podcast. Also, again, tap into the podcast. It's a good podcast. I like that it's up and coming. I know in the long run it's going to do well, and more people are going to grow to attract to this podcast. And I'm just thankful and humble to be featured on it. And so again, thank you, Keisha. Shout out to Freaking Frack. Definitely tap in, and well, I hope whoever's listening can get something out of it and find it to be a blessing.
My question was, what do I look for in a first date? I would have to say really good conversation is probably a big thing for me. Preferably, I would like to go somewhere where we eat, because I like to see how a person eats. Because if they eat disgusting, then I'm not going to want to go on another date with them. But yeah, just fun, good conversation,
I would like to see too, like how they treat not only me, but like are they nice to the waiter or the waitress, or like the people that work in wherever place that we're going. That's also another big thing for a first date for me. Like it actually has to be a date. Like we have to go out somewhere. But I look for like good manners, like pulling chairs out, opening up doors, and that about sums up what I look for in the first date. Find out I was thugging. Do you believe me when I tell you you the one I'm loving? Are you mad cause I'm asking you 21 questions? Are you